everyone, welcome to our series. Today I am so excited to have Suzanne McFarlin with me. We are going to be talking about the 3 ways to empower your high potential. A little bit about Suzanne. She is a PCC and a BCC. She's the owner of Step Up Leaders, and as a board certified coach, she specializes in executive coaching and leadership development. Suzanne became a certified coach with best-selling author Dr. Martha Beck. She also has earned her ICF Professional Certified Coach credential. And through the American Society for Training and Development, she received professional certificates for training services and is trained in the StrengthsFinder assessment, certified in the 4 Lenses assessment as well. She holds a BA in communication from University of Michigan, and at the University of Arizona, she's a professional leadership coach and has coached and instructed MBA students at the Eller College of Management. Suzanne, welcome.
Thank you, Laurel. Great to be with you today.
Yes, I am so excited for this conversation. So let's just dive right in, because high potentials is one of my favorite topics. I love the idea of taking an employee we can see the potential in, right, as a manager, and then helping them become their best. So I want to start off by asking you, how would you define high potential?
Mm-hmm. So most of my clients have an internal system for doing that. And what they look for, and those that don't, what they would be looking for in somebody who's high potential is somebody who's been identified based on performance to move up the ladder for increased leadership roles and responsibilities. So I love that companies are looking this direction to be able to begin to identify talent, to be able to say early on, that's somebody who we want to focus on. And then we want to make sure that they're equipped with the skills and experiences to be able to continue to move up the ladder in a particular company or organization.
Nice. Okay. And what value do high potentials bring to a company?
So first that comes to mind for me is succession planning. And I think that so many companies are struggling with succession planning. At the rate that baby boomers are retiring, which is something like around 10,000 people per day over the next 10 years, is leaving a lot of gaps in leadership and management within companies. So by identifying high potential candidates, investing in them, they have the ability to plug those folks into their succession plans. That would be number one. I would also say having identified high potentials is the opportunity to gives you the opportunity to work on knowledge transfer, because as folks are retiring in the workforce, there's a brain drain of information and processes and product knowledge and all those things that are retained individually in a company. And as those people retire, some companies and organizations are looking into methodologies for recording or somehow documenting some of that incredible knowledge that people are taking with them. But by investing in high potentials and having a defined program for knowledge transfer, it gives the opportunity to provide some continuity and some history and wisdom to, I would say, I guess, younger folks in the workforce, or those that have been identified as high potentials. Could really be any age. It could be an early career starter to someone who's later on in their career but has that potential to continue moving up. And the third one is just fresh ideas and perspective, particularly around technology and innovation, which seems to be, if we look at some of the younger people in the workforce, that those technology and innovation are skills that are really strong that they bring to the table.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All very important, especially, gosh, I hadn't even thought about the succession planning part. That's very, very interesting. And I think about, high turnover and the cost of turnover to a company. So I could see this role being so beneficial to a company.
Absolutely. It's estimated to be about 1.5 times an annual salary to attract, to interview, so that process of hire, on an onboarding of somebody new to a company. So there's lost time, there's lost knowledge, all those things. So retention becomes really important to companies in terms of their succession planning, but also in terms of their sustainability as well too.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And how about coaching? What do you see are the ways that coaching can and does empower high potentials?
Mm. So with coaching, it gives anybody an opportunity, but when we're talking about high potentials, an ability to get to know themselves, so their personality, their strengths, their values, and the more you know yourself, then you have a greater ability to understand other people as well and be a more effective leader. The second would be learning how emotional intelligence promotes the ability to lead. So it's that opportunity to be what I call other regarding. So not just concentrating on self, but also looking at what do others need. And in order to be the type of leader that people want to follow, you have to have a strong degree of other regarding, being able to put yourself in others' shoes or anticipate their needs or figure out ways to bring them along that is a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that coaching can really invest in young people and help them have this greater sense of emotional intelligence so that they can be stronger in these particular areas. And then also, I would say to become valuable to companies and organizations by leading from strengths. So coaching can help somebody identify what are those strengths, as I'd mentioned, as you get to know yourself. It also gives you the ability to then lead by those things, your best attributes. So your personality style at its best, your strengths at their best, your values at their best. So through coaching, you have the ability to become really valuable to an organization by having those, I guess, knowledge sets available.
Yeah. And one thing that I love was in StrengthsFinder, when I first found StrengthsFinder, reading about the correlation between living through your strengths versus trying to develop your weaknesses, and the research showing that it was more effective to live through your strengths.
Absolutely. So that methodology, just the StrengthsFinder assessment, and then what you're talking about, leading from your strengths versus focusing on your weaknesses, is part of that movement of positive psychology. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that if you spend all your time working on your weaknesses, they're never likely to become your strengths. But when people, let's just say you have a number of people in an organization and they're all working on their strengths, you bring so many different strengths to the table so that you get the opportunity to play off of one another and not have to be great at every one of the strengths. So StrengthsFinders, that assesses an individual on 34 different strengths. Well, I'm never going to be strong in 34 different strengths, but my top 5 combination, or potentially maybe my top 10 or 12, I'm bringing those to the table all the time. That's my best foot forward. But that's not going to look like yours, or it's not going to look like somebody else's. So it's a wonderful, that particular assessment is a wonderful ability, provides a wonderful ability for people to understand themselves, but also how to bring out the best in a team.
Ooh, I love that. Wonderful. Any other tips for managers or HR directors in empowering your high potential?
I would say make it a priority and be transparent about what you're trying to do with high potentials, so that other people within an organization understand what your intention is around identifying high potentials and also investing in them, so that there's clarity around that and that there's buy-in and acceptance and on that as well too.
Yeah, lovely. Well, thank you so much. This has been great.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.